أعزائي طلبة وطالبات الصف الثالث الثانوي، هنبدأ مع بعض النهاردة أول حصص المراجعة. طبعا مطلوب ان انتوا تكونوا مذاكرين يونت 1 كويس. هستنى لو اي حاجة مش فاهمينها، اي حاجة محتاجين تستفسروا عليها، استنى تعليقاتكم او على الخاص تبعتولي اي حاجة عايزين نشرحها تاني او كده. بعد ما نكون مذاكرين وشرحنا اللي مش فاهمينه، هنحل مع بعضينا exercises على unit 1. هنبدأ exercises on vocabulary. هقرا معاكم الجملة والاختيارات، هديكم فرصة تقولوا الإجابة بتاعتكم، بعدين أنا هقول الإجابة الصحيحة. طبعا لو في أي حاجة مش مظبوطة أو أي حاجة مش فاهمينها، النوتس كده نكتبها وإحنا قاعدين، وبعدين برضو هستنى استفساراتكم في التعليقات. نشوف أول جملة مع بعض. بتقول local officials are reminding people to obey the space and not sell fireworks to children under 16. To obey the law, row. طبعا هنا الإجابة الصحيحة هي law. obey the law اللي هو القانون. Read the poem. In a collection of modern, I read the poem in a collection of modern poetry, poet, poetess, poetical. The poem in a collection of modern poetry, شعر. Space people encounter many practical problems in the workplace. People encounter many practical problems in the workplace. طبعا هنا عايزين adjective صفة توصف people، لأن people ده الاسم في أول الجملة هو الفاعل، يبقى ما ينفعش يجي قبله غير صفة توصف الفاعل. فهقول ability ولا disability ولا enabled ولا disabled. When it comes to music, he only listens to Kulthum. When it comes to music, he is very السبيس هنا he only listens to Kulthum. يبقى he is old fashioned ولا fashionable ولا fashion ولا stylish. He only listens to Kulthum. يبقى he is very old fashioned. Mr. Alice of management is remarkable. All his employees admire him. Mr. Alice space of management is remarkable. All his employees admire him. Time ولا style ولا tire ولا liar. Mr. Alice style of management، أسلوب القيادة أو الإدارة. He is well in his new job, so the manager decided to promote him. He is space well in his new job, so the manager decided to promote him. He is studying ولا having, making, doing. Doing well, do well يعني يؤدي أداء جيدا. He had no previous space of managing a firm. He had no previous expiry ولا extraction, experiment, experience. No previous experience خبرة سابقة. She spent 8 years in New York City. She spent 8 years. يبقى living to live, lived, live. She spent 8 years living. Our neighbor brought cake, juice for everyone. Brought cake as far as ولا as well as long as well. as. Surgeons, an operation to reduce the swelling in my father's brain. Surgeons made ولا did ولا carried ولا had. did لأن operation تاخد do operation. A is the company that makes something available to read. That makes something available to read. يبقى designer ولا chef, publisher, publisher. I always have a break of coffee at midday. I always have a 10 minutes ولا 10 minutes. أنهي واحدة فيهم؟ 10 minute. Dr. Magdi Yaqub is one of the heart surgery. Dr. Magdi Yaqub is one of the biochemists ولا pioneers, biologists, engineers of heart surgery. Pioneers. It is the space for the bird to wear a white dress on her wedding, for the bride اللي هي العروس to wear a white dress on her wedding day. يبقى it is the habit ولا custom ولا costume ولا traditional. It is the custom اللي هي العادة السائدة في أي مجتمع بنقول عليها custom. طبعا فاكرين habit اللي هي العادة الفردية الشخصية، و tradition العادة المتوارثة القديمة. He published of short stories called Music in My Life. He published a collection ولا prediction, conviction, production. He published a space of short stories collection. To space is to make a new product or idea successful. Devastate, defame, develop, distort. To make a new product or idea successful. يبقى to develop. He gets angry if anyone discusses his religious beliefs. Religious beliefs لأن الإف لما بنيجي نجمع بنحولها إلى VES. طبعا belief ده المفرد المعتقد، لما بنيجي نجمعها بنحول الإف ل VES. beliefs معتقدات دينية، religious اللي هي الدينية. Pages of this book shouldn't be copied without the permission of the space هنا طبعا of the vet ولا publisher, barber, publisher. طبعا الإجابة الصحيحة هي publisher الناشر. Mona is certain to win the race. There is just no competition. Mona is certain to win the race. أنا متأكدة إن هي سوف تفوز بالسباق. يبقى there is just no competitors. I'm busy right now. You can set up an appointment with my secretarial ولا secret ولا secretary. I'm busy right now. You can set up an appointment with my secretary. It's against the space to park on a double yellow line. It's against the law. to park on a double yellow line. The space that everyone should come to the parking. They consisted, insisted, assisted, invested. They insisted. Do you have any trouble with Shakespeare's writing? Space. Do you have any trouble with Shakespeare's writing? Stem, still, steal, style. طبعا writing style اللي هو أسلوب الكتابة. A person who has been a soldier caught a good policeman. A person who has been a soldier caught a good policeman. Do, make, has, take. Make. She some very helpful suggestions, but her boss rejected them all. Suggestions. يبقى she made ولا did, refused, denied. Made. I'll send the document as an to my next email. The document يبقى as an attachment, detachment, improvement, pavement to my next email. طبعا attachment. The patient has been pain in her left shoulder. Experimenting, existing, experiencing, extracting. Pain. Experiencing. Great works of English. طبعا space are studied in universities all over the world. Great works of English. Picture, literature, treasure, measure. Literature. الأدب الإنجليزي. He joined the Navy after from high school. After grading, marking, graduating, going. Graduating. Space. What perhaps make good politicians, as they know what can and can't be done in law. Good politicians. Lawyers ولا surgeons ولا nurses ولا archaeologists. Lawyers اللي هم المحامين ممكن يبقوا good politicians as they know what can and can't be done in law. I'm totally. Could you explain that again? Could you explain that again? يبقى I'm totally refused, fused, confused, relaxed. Confused. He's working for the Ministry of Finance now. He loads of money. Loads of money. يبقى he borrows, makes, wastes, invests. He's working for the Ministry of Finance. وزارة المالية. يبقى هو بيعمل ايه؟ loads of money. Invests. Mom was a great in herbal medicine. She's all of them. Mom was a great disbeliever ولا believer in herbal medicine. She is all for them. Believer. She left at to go a shopping center and hasn't been seen ever since. Left at all day, midday, today, daydream. Midday. The king has to a speech at the coronation. speech هقول say ولا invent ولا make ولا do. make. Muhammad Salah quickly himself as a great footballer. Established, bullished, published, denied. Established. The government agreed to 2 new cities in the western desert. Destroy ولا grow, demolish, establish. Reading literature introduces us to other people's experiences and capture cultures culturally. It is to eat colored eggs on Sham el-Nisim. Peculiar, traditional, odd, unusual. To eat colored eggs in Sham el-Nisim. يبقى it is traditional, تقليدي. Managing my finances can me a real headache. Make, get, give, prove. give طبعا ده expression احنا عارفينه كلنا. give headache. The books about Harry Potter are very popular now, both at home and abroad. At home and abroad بالخارج. She is one of the most highly journalists in the country. Respected, respectable, response. Respected. The president will be meeting with foreign space next week. Foreign, enemies, colleagues, mates, diplomats. The president يبقى will be meeting foreign diplomats and a measuring 6.1 on the Richter scale struck Southern California on June 28. Struck Southern California يعني ضرب Southern California on June 28 يبقى an drought, flood, earthquake, volcano. Earthquake. When he was in America, he tried to adapt to local, but in vain. To local costumes, crimes, habits, customs. طبعا local customs. Amal space music to that so that she could hear what her mother had to say. Amal lightened, silenced, ached, turned up so that she could hear what her mother had to say. يبقى عملت ايه للميوزك؟ silenced. The firm I work for has been in the computer field since 1953. The firm اللي هي الشركة I work for has been a pioneer ولا follower, biochemist, biologist. Pioneer. I've set up a small company that only about 4 books a year. Small company that lends, sells, publishes, writes. طبعا الكومباني بتعمل ايه للبوكس؟ publishes. بتنشرها. In the first chapter that discusses childcare issues, the reader, publisher, printer, author. In the first chapter, the author discusses childcare issues. As the sun went space below the horizon, all the farmers returned home. The sun went down ولا up ولا out ولا into. The sun went down. Young people no longer follow of their ancestors. Young people no longer follow the literature, agriculture, traditions, permission of their ancestors. Traditions التقاليد أو العادات القديمة الموروثة. A motorcycling accident had left her severely able, disabled. It remains to own these guns but not to carry them in public. It remains awful, careful, lawful, eventful to own these guns but not to carry them in public. It remains lawful, قانوني. This is a serious disease that can cause or death. Serious disease that can cause disability, ability, treatment, energy. Disability, الإعاقة or death. The landlord has got complaints from the other tenants about our noise. Our making, inventing, having, doing. Noise بنقول make noise يبقى making noise. He was forced too early because of poor health. Was forced to acquire, require, retire, inquire. Retire. Reporters. The shocking discovery that the governor had been unfaithful to his country. Reporters confessed, invented, made, admitted. The shocking discovery يبقى بتاخد made the shocking discovery الاكتشاف الصادم. The Malik and Garden City are some of the most beautiful of Cairo. The Malik and Garden City are some of the most beautiful districts, extracts, districts of Cairo. Districts اللي هي الأحياء السكنية أو المناطق السكنية. Could you put another piece of wood on the fire please before it goes down, on, up, out. الفاير بنقول عليها goes out, go out. To avoid, the teams were different colors. To avoid, profession, vision, permission, confusion. The teams wore different colors. Confusion. دي كانت بعض الاكسرسايزز على الفوكابلري. نشوف كمان exercises on grammar. I entered the office and looked around. Most people at their offices. هنختار were working ولا worked ولا had worked ولا used to work. I entered the office and looked around. Looked past simple ماضي بسيط. Most people were working. past continuous. There, an earthquake in Japan. Many people were injured and there was a small tsunami. There was, has been, is, being. was. طبعا نخلي بالنا لما يبقى فيه كذا حدث وكله past simple ماضي بسيط يبقى هنختار هنا برضو past simple. ما ينفعش مضارع مع ماضي في نفس الجملة. هنا has و is و being كل ده present. ما ينفعش اختارهم مع الماضي. هنا was were يبقى هنا اكيد was. When I lived in London I threw the park every day. When I lived in London هبقى هختار I walk had walked walked was walking. walked ماضي بسيط ودي past habit. past habit يعني عادة ماضية. زي ما قلنا من ضمن الطرق اللي ممكن اعبر بيها عن العادة الماضية ان انا هستخدم فعل في past simple الماضي البسيط مع كلمة من الكلمات الدالة على المضارع البسيط. every day every day. طبعا هنا مع lived يبقى دي past habit. past habit يبقى past simple ماضي بسيط عادة ماضية. Space I was out shopping. I saw 3 of my friends. I was out shopping. I saw 3 of my friends. While although because on. طبعا هنا أداة الربط المناسبة هي while حسب معنى الجملة. My sister in Canada for 2 years before she moved to London. Before وبعديها moved past simple يبقى has lived was living is living had lived. before معناها قبل يبقى حدث تم قبل حدث آخر في الماضي البسيط يبقى ماضي تام. ماضي تام had lived. Amani was really hungry because she all day was really hungry. was في الماضي يبقى because she hasn't eaten ولا hadn't eaten doesn't eat wasn't eating all day. زي ما اتفقنا was يبقى هنا لازم يكون ايه ماضي. hadn't eaten لم تأكل. The manual I found I could use the computer easily. The manual the noun يبقى هقول having read to read had read after read. having read اللي هي بتساوي جملة after والماضي التام. الجملة التانية ماضي بسيط. طبعا read هنا التصريف التالت من read نفس الكتابة النطق مختلف شوية. We bought our tickets and 5 minutes later the train 5 minutes later arrived has arrived had arrived was arriving. طبعا متفقين ان bought ماضي يبقى هنا لازم يكون ماضي بس 5 minutes later يبقى لازم هقول ايه arrived. ما ينفعش ليه had arrived مش صحيحة لان كده معناها ان الترين arrived before we buy our tickets لكن احنا bought our tickets 5 minutes later بعديها ب5 دقائق the train arrived يبقى حدثان متتاليان في الماضي دون فارق زمني. مفيش فرق زمني بينهم. اول ما اشترينا التذاكر الترين arrived. When I go to the cinema روضة for me. When I got to the cinema got ده الماضي من get يبقى روضة waited ولا was waiting ولا has waited had waited for me. was waiting كانت منتظراني. حدث طويل مستمر في الماضي، وحدث آخر قصير قطعه. Maha offered me another drink but I refused as I enough was having have had طيب متفقين. offered refused كله ماضي، يبقى مش هينفع اختار ايه اي حاجة في المضارع. طيب يبقى as I had this car to me 3 years ago was belongs has belonged 3 years ago يبقى ماضي بسيط. belonged. Amani phoned me while the dinner was cooks was being cooked. phoned ماضي while the dinner was being cooked. ماضي مستمر بس مبني للمجهول، لأن الدينر هنا الأوبجكت المفعول مش الفاعل. was being cooked. While I at home, a man knocked on the door and asked for help. While I was being had been was am being. فيها فكرة حلوة الجملة دي. While I was. ليه اخترنا was مع ان ده حدث طويل وده حدث قصير قطعه؟ المفروض الحدث الطويل يبقى في الماضي المستمر. طبعا هنختار هنا الماضي البسيط اللي هو was، لان verb to be من الافعال اللي ما ينفعش تيجي في صيغة المستمر، فبنجيب بدلها البسيط. افعال الحواس والكينونة والادراك والتملك وهكذا، الافعال دي ما ينفعش تيجي في صيغة المستمر، فبنجيبها في البسيط. I a noise while I was studying last night. While I was studying يبقى I heard. حدث طويل was studying، حدث قصير heard. She ill when I visited her. She ill when I visited her. She seemed. برضو الفعل seem ما ينفعش يجي في الماضي المستمر زي verb to be، فهنجيب ماضي بسيط. She seemed ill when I visited her. When I was young, I swimming to playing tennis. When I was young, I was preferring have preferred برضو فعل prefer ما ينفعش يجي مستمر. Mona lunch when her friend phoned her so she couldn't answer the phone. She couldn't answer the phone يبقى Mona was having. طبعا verb to have هنا معناه يتناول eat، فعشان كده ينفع يجي مستمر. لو كان معناه يمتلك ما ينفعش يجي was having. I couldn't phone my friend as my phone at home. I couldn't phone my friend as I was leaving, had left, was left. My phone at home. Had left. My father's car was hit by a driver who at mad speed. Was hit طبعا ده ماضي بسيط بس مبني للمجهول. Who was driving drive was driven drives at mad speed. Who was driving While I was doing my homework, my sister, my mother. While I was doing ماضي مستمر. My sister space my mother helps had helped was helping حدثان متزامنان في الماضي. My visit to the museum, I saw many monuments. So while, just as, during. my visit دي noun يبقى هنختار during my visit to the museum. My grandmother better when the doctor came to see her. When the doctor came. Weren't seeming, hasn't seemed, wasn't seeming, didn't seem. الفكرة دي حلينا واحدة شبهها. My grandmother didn't seem. لأن طبعا الفيرب seem ما ينفعش يجي في المستمر، و came ده ماضي يبقى لازم يبقى معاه ماضي بسيط. What space when I called you, you sounded very busy. What did you do? Were you doing? Have you been doing? Had you done? When I called you, you sounded very busy. What were you doing? ماضي مستمر، كنت بتعمل ايه؟ When she saw the fire coming out of the factory, she was screaming, had screamed, will scream. When she saw ماضي بسيط يبقى she screamed. حدثان دون فارق زمني. scream معناها يصرخ. أول ما شافت الفاير coming out of the factory she screamed صرخت. I shopping until I had finished the housework. Until وبعديها had finished يبقى هنا I didn't go. After the doors and the windows I went to bed. After locked, had locked, locking, lock. After وهنا مفيش فاعل يبقى الverb plus ing. After locking the doors and the windows. I couldn't open the door as I a shower. I couldn't open the door as I had, was having, had, has had. Was having طبعا هنا have مش معناها يمتلك يبقى تيجي عادي في المستمر. I was having a shower. As soon as she wanted to see the film. As soon as she finishing, had finished, has finished, finishes. She wanted to see the film. Wanted ماضي بسيط يبقى ماضي تام. Had finished. When mom was climbing down the stairs, her leg had broke, was breaking, broke, has broken. As mom was climbing ماضي مستمر يبقى الحدث التاني broke ماضي بسيط. Having the shopping, mother started to prepare lunch. Having do, having she did, done she does. Having بيجي بعديها تصريف ثالث done. As soon as we arrived at school, the first lesson we missed it يعني فاتنا يبقى the first lesson was beginning ولا began, had begun, has begun. معنى ان احنا we missed it يبقى هو كان had begun قبل ما احنا نوصل، بدأ قبل ما نوصل يبقى ماضي تام. Yesterday evening for our English test when all the lights went out. When all the lights went out ماضي بسيط يبقى we were revising ولا revising are revising revised were revising حدث طويل وحدث قصير قطعه. My last novel 6 times before I was happy with it. I had changed, have changed, has changed before I was happy with it. had changed. By the time Nada arrived, we spaced lunch, so there was nothing for her to eat. There was nothing for her to eat. يبقى we had ماضي تام. had. No sooner the noise than we rushed to the spot. No sooner في أول الجملة يبقى هيجي بعديها we did hear, had we heard, we had heard, we heard. No sooner في أول الجملة هي و hardly و scarcely. طالما في أول الجملة يبقى هيجي بعديها had we heard صيغة الاستفهام من الماضي التام. had we heard. We arrived an hour late. The film an hour earlier. We arrived an hour late. The film an hour earlier. Begins, was beginning, had begun, has begun. Had begun. بدأ قبل ما نوصل. We weren't hungry because we weren't hungry because we has already eaten, have already eaten, had already eaten, already eaten. Had already eaten. طبعا طالما ده ماضي يبقى لازم هنا ايه ماضي. He got into the class. He had seen the teacher coming. Got into the class. بعدين space he had seen. When, before, tell, having. When. I already seen the film, but I decided to watch it again last night. I has, did, have, had. I had. She was late because she to set her alarm clock. She was late because she had forgotten, has forgotten, was forgetting, forget. Had forgotten. ماضي تام. I heard a knock at the front door, so I to answer it. I heard. So I had gone, was going, went, had been. Went. At this time yesterday, I an essay. At this time yesterday, I write, was writing, have written, written. طبعا at this time yesterday تخلينا نختار was writing ماضي مستمر. The football season a month ago began, was beginning, had begun, begins. A month ago يبقى began ماضي بسيط. She from school on 2001 graduated, graduates, had graduated in 2001 in وتاريخ في الماضي يبقى ماضي بسيط graduated. We entered the house quietly because everyone was sleeping, had slept, will be sleeping, is sleeping. We entered يبقى everyone was sleeping. The children in the garden while their parents were watching them. The children space in the garden while their parents were watching them. Played, play, were playing had played. were playing حدثان متزامنان في الماضي. الأطفال بيلعبوا their parents were watching them. They many hours before we arrived. They had left, have left, are leaving, were leaving before we arrived. Had left. They to the airport as the plane was landing. They to the airport as the plane was landing. Get, got, were getting, are getting. They got. She wore the shoes. She space the previous day. She wore the shoes. wore ده طبعا الماضي من الverb wear. She wore the shoes. She have bought ولا had bought will buy the previous day. طبعا wore ده ماضي، يبقى مفيش حل غير هنا ان احنا نختار ماضي. طبعا هنا الابوستروف دي اختصار had bought the previous day ماضي تام. I fell to the ground as I for the bus. I fell ماضي بسيط. As I ran had run was running have run. Was running كنت بجري رحت fell to the ground. What she say when she asked her to marry him. What does did well has when he asked her to marry him. طبعا هنا ناقص الفعل المساعد. What الفعل الأساسي في المصدر، يبقى ما ينفعش اختار غير ايه did عشان asked هنا ماضي. What did she say? When I was a student I much money. When I was a student I not have, don't have, didn't have, hadn't had much money. Didn't have ماضي بسيط. Why was she still space at 1 o'clock in the morning. Why was she still work, worked, working, works at 1 o'clock in the morning. طبعا طالما في was يبقى working. was working ماضي مستمر. I was happy to see her because we each other for years. Don't see, hadn't seen, not see, can't see. I was happy to see her because we hadn't seen each other for years. I was writing an email when our computer down. I was writing ماضي مستمر. When our computer breaks, has broken, broken, broke, broke down. My aunt bought me a lovely gift after the summer holiday with us. Have spent, spent, spending, had spent. After وما فيش هنا فاعل يبقى الverb plus ing. My brother ate all of the cakes that our mom is making, will make, had made, make. My brother ate ماضي بسيط all the cakes that our mom had made. The children collected the fruit that from the tree. The children collected the fruit that had fallen, will fall, falls, fall. collected ماضي بسيط يبقى هنختار ماضي تام had fallen. طيب space كده في اول الجملة. he found Angie before he went to see her in أشمون. he found يبقى نختار الفعل المساعد. well did has had. found تصريف ثالث. طبعا went ده ماضي يبقى مفيش حل غير had. ما ينفعش has لان ده ماضي. وطبعا did و will بيجي بعديهم الفعل الاساسي في المصدر مش في التصريف الثالث. The storm destroyed the sand castle that in the 19th century was being built ولا built had been built had built. The storm destroyed ماضي بسيط that وبعد كده in the 19th century that had been built ماضي تام مبني للمجهول. وبكده نكون خلصنا يونت 1 ان شاء الله. حلينا عليها كمية حلوة. منتظرة اي استفسارات او اي حاجة مش فاهمينها او اي حل مش عارفين الصح فين. منتظرة في التعليقات بتاعتكم وفي الرسائل. وبالتوفيق وانتظروا يونت 2 قريب ان شاء الله.